So guys, let's start with the chapter tax deduction at source. With love, we call it TDS. TDS. So this chapter is not only important at intermediate level, but also at final level and also at practical aspect. Okay, whenever you go for interview, they are going to ask a lot of question from TDS chapter. They may not ask question from PGBP, capital gain, IFOS, but one thing is for sure, if you are applying for the job which is directly or indirectly related to accounting field, then you must be prepared for TDS related question, which are very much expected in interview, because in real life also TDS is one of the regularly used, almost on daily basis used chapter in practical world. So these provisions are given in chapter 17B of Income Tax Act, and technically the sections are section 190 to section 206 AA. So here I have given one example. Any organization, I have taken the example of Lakshya because these notes are from Kerala. So Lakshya or any organization, maybe for you Raj class or for us it is Gurukul. Okay. This organization, they make a lot of payment. Payment in what form, sir? Payment in form of professional fees, payment in form of salary, payment in form of rent, payment in form of contracts. Yeah. So many organization will pay a lot of fees. So this payment is made by organization to whom? To their teacher, their staff, their landowners or their building owners, and their contractees. Okay. So the person who makes payment is known as the payer. The person who makes payment in this chapter is called as a payer, and the person who receives the payment or receives the income is the payee. Can you tell me who is the assessee in this particular chapter? Payer or payee? Who is the assessee? Assessee. पेयर इज द असेसी और पे इज द असेसी. असेसी कौन है यहाँ पे? हु इज द असेसी? बोलो, बाकी लोग भी बोलो. क्या अपना तुम्हारा ओपिनियन पूछ रहा हूँ. आई एम आस्किंग ओपिनियन. हु इज द असेसी? पे इज द असेसी. ओके. एनीबडी एल्स? So now I got 1 to 1. One is saying payer, another one is saying payee. Who is the assessee in this chapter?
Payee.
Payee. So some of you are saying payee, many of you are saying payee now. Okay, so usually, please understand, usually person who earns income is the payee. Sorry, assessee. So who earns income here? Who is earning income? So if I talk about Airlines, so who is earning income? All employees are earning income. So according to your understanding, person who earns income, who is liable to pay tax, is the payee. That is true in all other chapters. But that's not true in TDS chapter, because in TDS chapter the responsibility to pay tax is not on payee. The responsibility is to pay tax on payer. Though it's not his income, it's income earned by the other people, but it's income earned through him, and therefore payer is the assessee. So whenever we say assessee should do this, assessee should not do this, assessee is treated as assessee in default. So assessee here, the responsible person is not payee. The responsible person in this chapter is payer, and therefore our assessee is payer. The payer is also known as the deductor, because he is making payment, he should deduct TDS. Therefore, he is known as the deductor, and the person in respect of whom TDS is deducted is known as the deductee. What are the other responsibilities, sir? This deductor should apply for TAN for deducting TDS, and he should deposit that particular TDS amount with Government of India by using reference number of payee, which is PAN. So PAN you already know, permanent account number. PAN means permanent account number, whereas TAN means TD CAN. The full form of TAN is TD CAN. Okay, tax deduction and collection account number. TD CAN is equal to tax deduction and collection account number. Deduction is in reference of TDS and tax collection is in reference of TCS. So you must have, a payer must have TD can before he can deduct TDS of any deductee. Now, what are the responsibilities? How it works? How it works? So how it works? So if my invoice, if tomorrow I raise invoice of rupees 100 rupees, please understand as a professional also, if you raise invoice of 100 rupees, our TDS get deducted under section 194J. For professional payment, TDS get deducted under section 194J and the rate of tax under 194J is 10%. So if my professional fees, audit fees, cost audit fees, the taxation consultancy fees, tax teaching fees is 100 rupees, my payer or my employer is not going to give me 100 rupees. He will give me net amount of 90 rupees. 10 amount he will deduct. Now you tell me, is it his income? This 10 rupees, is it his income? What will he do with this 10 rupees? Hello?
Pay to government.
He will pay to government. Obviously, he will pay to government. On whose behalf? On behalf of deductor or on behalf of deductee?
Deducting.
Deductee.
Obviously deductee by using his PAN because this is not his income. This is my income. Only thing is that I did not receive it from him because government doesn't trust payee here, doesn't have more faith on the payer. Government does more have faith on employer, source. These are the words that you can use. Okay. So what is the responsibility of deductor or what is the responsibility of payer? The responsibility number one, he must deduct TDS. He must deduct TDS. Responsibility number two, TDS amount which is deducted must be deposited with the government. Responsibility number three, he must give quarterly statement. He must file a return of TDS. Like we have discussed in 139, return of income, there is a concept of return of TDS which has to be filed quarterly with Government of India. So third responsibility is to file quarterly statement. And then fourth, how would payee come to know whether payer has deducted TDS or not? So there has to be some assurance given to the payee. So payer must issue TDS certificate that this much amount was deducted during the previous year on your income, and this is a certificate that we have to issue. Now, so far as TDS certificate is concerned, you need to remember two things. Usually you will be listening in practical world form number 16. Form number 16 is very common terminology that people use. If someone from your family is also working and if their TDS is getting deducted and he's the employee, you can easily ask them, if it is a father, you can just talk to him, Appa, do you get form 16? And he will say, yes, I do get form 16. And then you can see what is written in form 16. So you will see in form 16, nothing but they have done computation of income from salary and computation of tax thereon, and they will issue form number 16 once in a year because form 16 gets issued once in a year. What is form 16? Form 16 will have all the information of the income of particular employee and the tax liability and amount deducted. And if it is a professional payment, if it is a non-employee, if it is a professional payment, contractual payment, payment to owner, other than employee payment, then the certificate that we usually issue is form 16A. So for me, I get 16A from wherever I work. So I work with Lakshya, so they give me form number 16A 4 times in a year because form number 16A should be issued quarterly. So these are the things that you must understand. And this form number 16 and 16A are the TDS certificate, which is a evidence kind of document which gives me proof, okay, this is the amount which is deducted by my employer on behalf of me, so that I can take credit in future. So this is a certificate which can be downloaded from the income tax website. They can't make this in their, on Word or on Excel. No. They must download this certificate from TDS website, income tax website. So now let's come to the responsibility of the payee. What is the responsibility of payee? Pay has only one responsibility, and that is he must furnish his PAN. His permanent account number should be given to the employer. Why? Because employer cannot deduct TDS by using your name. I told you this is the problem in India. We are having so many assessees or so many individuals with a similar name, same name. Okay, and therefore name cannot be used as a unique identification number, and therefore income tax department have started issued permanent account number, which was kind of unique identity number before Aadhaar, and therefore there is only one responsibility of payee, that he must submit his permanent account number to his employer. Now, sir, whenever I have told you that this is a responsibility, then you have this curiosity question. What if I don't do that? Okay, what if I break the law? So, nahi karenge to, right? This question should pop up in your mind. So, at the moment you say, what will happen if I don't furnish my PAN to payer? Nothing will happen. Section 206 AA will attract. This is another important section. Section 206 AA will attract, and your TDS will be deducted. Your TDS will be deducted at higher possible rate. So what is the higher possible rate here? So higher possible rate is TDS rate, which is given in the section. There are a lot of sections, maybe around 27 sections we are going to discuss. TDS will be deducted, will be at TDS rate or rate in force. Rate in force means tax applicable rate. Please understand, rate in force means, so for foreign company, rate in force is 40% plus surcharge plus education save. For Indian company, the rate in force is 30% plus surcharge plus education save. So rate in force means actual effective tax rate which is applicable to that assessee. So the first consequence is the TDS rate, or second amount which is possible is the rate in force, or minimum 20%, whichever is higher, whichever is higher. Similar section we have done, if you remember, similar section we have discussed in TCS chapter, tax collected at source, where I discussed with you guys section 206. Just to give you reference, section 206 CC. Do you remember section 206 CC? If you don't furnish your PAN to the seller in TCS chapter, then your TCS will be collected at twice. Do you remember this word?
Yes.
Twice a rate, or minimum how much? Minimum 5%, whichever is higher. This was the provision under section TCS chapter. Here we are having 206 AA, higher TDS 3. Out of 3, whichever will be higher. Now when this will happen, come on, tell me when this will happen. If you don't furnish your PAN. So there are provisions. See, for example, 194C. Professional payment get deducted under 194J. Salary get deducted under 192. Rent get deducted under 194I. And contractual payment get deducted under 194C. 194C, the TDS rate of 194C is 1%, only 1%. But that 1% is applicable only when this payee is giving his PAN to payer. If payee doesn't give his PAN to the payer, then what is going to happen? Come on, tell me what is going to happen. If payee gives PAN to payer, then what will happen? TDS will be deducted at 1%. But what if he doesn't give his PAN? He's afraid that government will come to know about his income. Therefore, he is not sharing his PAN. So what government will do? What payer should do? Come on, tell me.
Whichever is higher.
Yeah.
Higher TDS.
Higher TDS. And higher, how would you compute higher TDS under section 206 AA? The higher TDS will be TDS rate, rate in force, or 20%, whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. This is going to happen. Now, due date of payment of TDS. What is the due date of payment of TDS? So TDS is getting deducted on monthly basis because we pay salary on monthly basis. So TDS will be getting deducted on monthly basis. So whenever you make payment to professionals or contractual payment, so TDS get deducted on monthly basis, and this amount is expected by Government of India on real-time basis. Given a choice, they would have said, today you deducted TDS, today you must deposit it. But they have given some relaxation. They said, okay, you should deposit TDS at least on monthly basis. Why monthly basis, sir? Because this is the money which belongs to the payee deducted from his account, and you must deposit this money with the Government of India as soon as possible. Because this is not payer's money. This money doesn't belong to payer, and therefore as soon as possible this money should be deposited with Government of India. And therefore I should be telling you there is a monthly liability. TDS must be paid on monthly basis on the 7th of the following month. So whatever TDS is deducted in the month of April, that amount must be deposited with government before 7th May. Whatever amount you have deducted in the month of May should be deposited with government before 7th June. Whatever amount you have deducted in the month of June should be deposited with the government before 7th July. Whatever amount you have deducted in the month of December should be deposited with the government before 7th January. Whatever amount you have deducted in the month of January, you must deposit with the government before 7th Feb. Whatever amount you have deducted in the month of Feb, you must deposit with the government before 7th March. And whatever amount you have deducted in the month of March, now March being the month of last month of financial year, lot of adjustment entries has to be done, and therefore they have given the extended time of 30th April. So this is, you must remember, and please log in immediately. This is about to log out, so please log in immediately. So for the March month, the liability date is 30th April. Am I clear with the due date of payment of TDS? Please acknowledge.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So so this much data you must remember. One more page theory we have written, so that we will do next session.